Welcome to Networking with Nathaniel, a podcast where I talk to movers and shakers, entrepreneurs, business owners, people that are just growing in their businesses, in their personal lives, and I get to talk with them, find out what they're doing, what they're going to do, what they've done in the past, their struggles, their successes, what worked, what hasn't worked, the lessons they've learned. They share it with me and share it with you. So if you're looking to grow yourself, your business, your personal life, your relationships, you've come to the right place. I am Nathaniel Hovsepian. I am host of Networking with Nathaniel. Go figure. I am a real estate investor. I'm a health and wellness coach for busy dads. More importantly, I'm a husband. I'm a father of 3 little humans. 5, 3, almost 3, almost 1. That's what's important to me. But this show is not about me. It's about those people that I mentioned here at the top of the hour. And today's guest is somebody who is near and dear to my heart, a friend of mine for a few years now since joining Sub2, the greatest real estate community on earth. Before I get to the introduction, though, if this is your first time here, hang out, see if you like the show. If you do, please subscribe. It helps the channel out, it helps us grow, reach more people, and it'll help you because I have plenty of guests that have come on. This is episode 108 and plenty of guests going forward talking about how you can grow in your personal lives, in your business from a health and wellness standpoint. I went bluer there for a second. That was odd. If you are not a first-time visitor, hit the like button. If you're not already subscribed, please do so. Without further ado, my guest today is, like I said, an entrepreneur. He has been in the health space for over 25 years at this point. I have known him for a little while now, and he's got some new cool projects going on that I'm really excited to talk about. Welcome back for the 3rd time, Mr. Shawn Kitzman.
What's up, my guy?
How are you? I'm going to see if I can get the focus thing focused. Yeah.
No worries.
So I think this is 3, right?
I believe this is 3. Yeah, I believe this is 3. And in that, thanks for having me on 3 times. And it's always great to chat.
I forget who it was that I heard. It was maybe Joe Rogan or Brandon Turner or something. But part of having the podcast is so I have an excuse to talk to, cool high level individuals, but also just my friends. Because while you and I talk somewhat frequently again now because of the Fit Fatherhood coffee hour within the brotherhood community. This is an excuse for us to just sit down one-on-one, stand, or sit, and talk shop, essentially. And we've started already prior to recording. It was like, oh, let's hold off that one. Let's hold off that for the episode. So it's going to be a quick hour, I think. But tell everybody kind of what so you were a real estate investor. You're still doing that, but not as full-time as what not as focused as when you last came on. Give everybody a little bit of background of yourself and how that applies to what your new project is, the Rebuild Project.
Yeah, so I went to massage therapy school in 1997. At the time, in 97, personal training was this small thing. Athletic trainers didn't exist. Yeah. Physical therapist was still a private enterprise. Most of your physical therapy offices in the late 90s or mid to late 90s, and even into early 2000s, were private practices, unless they were attached to a system. When I went to massage therapy school, because I knew I couldn't get through via PT. Like, there's just no way I could drag myself through college.
Yeah.
And but my goal was always to work with athletes and active people. And so I went to massage therapy school. I started working in 2000. I apprenticed for 3 years with a woman who worked with a bunch of professional athletes, and I got a pretty broad taste of things there. My ex-business partner and I started practice in 2003 in Michigan. I'm from Michigan originally. I live in Minneapolis now, or in a suburb of Minneapolis. And so we started our practice in 2003. Then at that time, I just wanted to provide general massage to the widest group of people I possibly could. about 2006, 2007, I was like, man, I'm not excited about this idea any longer. Like, this just doesn't excite me. And one of the things I know about myself is I'm a quick start. So probably every 3 to 5 years, I'm going to rehash whatever the hell it is I'm doing because I'm going to lose interest in something. And so I'm going to need to reevaluate it. And you'll see this as we kind of go through the timeline. You'll see this kind of happen. So 2008, ex-business partner and I split. But around the fall of 2007, I began working with one elite level youth athlete in my area. He was a nationally competitive soccer player. And I went on to travel with his team for 3 seasons where I'd work on the boys before, during, and after games. And then that really took me down the rabbit hole of like, oh man, I love working with athletes. That's really my jam. I tried to be a good relaxation massage therapist. I did it for about 3 years. You know, from knowing me for about 3 years, there's nothing relaxing about me. Better chance of not putting you to sleep with hitting you in the head with my gripper than I do actually with a massage. So I'm really extroverted. I'm very type A. I'm a very excitable personality. So that doesn't work well with, Enya in incense and things like that. That just doesn't work for me. So when I started working with athletes, the thing that I realized with working with athletes is that athletes are used to being coached. They're used to an excitable personality, type A. They're pretty outcome-based, goal-driven. And so really from about 07 to 2022, I built a practice and a reputation for helping athletes recover from injuries very quickly. And so I've worked with everybody from 12-year-old, just club players to professional athletes. From 2018 to 21-ish, I really focused on working with pitchers, and I helped build probably 3 or 4 guys that threw 90 plus, and then also a couple guys that threw 95 plus. Through biomechanics and helping them sequence their motions better so that they were more efficient. Wow. I recognized in that I couldn't compete with an industry which was based on just like, how do we have guys throw as hard as they possibly could? And knowing that there's an inherent risk for Tommy John surgery. And I just couldn't stomach that. And then also, this is like COVID's still going on for all of us at that time. And so I started to kind of really reevaluate what I wanted to do. And I started to I'd always been interested in the idea of investing in real estate. And so I went down the rabbit hole of that on YouTube, like a lot of us do. And I ran across Pace. And then I had some pretty interesting conversation with my wife. And I'm like, okay, like this is what I want to do. I'm going to try this out. And so I joined Sub2. Shortly after I joined Sub2, that's when you and I met. And then along the way, I formed a business partnership with 2 other people. And it was a fantastic experience. What I've kind of realized though, is that I'm always drawn back to the old thing that I used to do. And so with things that have happened to me personally, like injury wise, over the last 4 years, and then where technology is, I kind of decided that I was going to step away from like actively trying to become a wholesaler and in lead generation for other investors, and then kind of repackage my old business in a way that I can do it and grow a community, and instead of just one-to-one, have a little bit more of a one-to-many approach, so that I can help a wider group of people from all over the place instead of just local to my community. And then also, I don't want to restart a brick and mortar business because we're going to move back to Michigan in a 3 years, and I don't want to close that one again because I've done that already, and then restart again. I've done that already. So So yeah, that's the Reader's Digest condensed version of the last 25 years.
That's okay. In 7 minutes or whatever. The pivoting back, or however you want to call it, from real estate back into this, was there for me? I didn't have a business prior to doing real estate in health and wellness coaching. I've been helping people my entire life though, and I can think back literally to like 6th grade where I was, dude, your running form is garbage.
Right.
Let me help you.
You run
You're
like a zombie.
friend.
We need to help you. Yeah.
Like, you're my friend. I want you to be on the relay team with me. Let me help you be faster. And so, I've been doing that my whole life. What I found in real estate was I was trying to help people, and I wasn't getting any value out of like that. A lot of people who didn't want to help themselves, even people that paid for coming into the mentorship, were like not ready to put in work. Like, well, what are you doing here? And so I wasn't getting a whole lot of value out of that. That's why I made the pivot to like, let me really focus on how I can help people from a health and wellness standpoint as a father, and incorporating that. That's where Fit Fatherhood was born, is like fitting it into fatherhood. That was something that, and I'm still going through in my personal journey, is working it all together. How am I balancing? Because we're still actively buying real estate. Like, how am I balancing the real estate, coaching people, being a husband, being a father, being a man, and bringing that to other people? So was there an element of that? There should be a better question here, but
no, I understand your question for sure. Yeah. So as you know, about 2.5 years ago, I joined Strategic Coach, which Dan Sullivan kind of wrote. He didn't really write. Ben Hardy wrote the books, but they were really from Dan's stuff that he did in Strategic Coach. So the book Who Not How, Gap and Gain, and 10X is Easier Than 2X. Those 3 books there are Dan Sullivan inspired books. Dan had something to say about it, but it was really Ben Hardy that was kind of writing the bigger books, because Dan writes books that are about this size, right? Okay.
Yeah, very.
He puts he's written over 100 books that size. He puts out 1 book a quarter. So when I joined Strategic Coach, it was with the idea of trying to help me to understand how to build a team of people, and then eventually a self-managing company. And then along the way in Strategic Coach, one of the things they talk about is your unique ability. And when you're in your unique ability, it's almost like flow state a little bit, right? Yeah. Because you're doing stuff that's organically and authentically your own. And so I hate to use the word business becomes a little bit easier, but business becomes a little bit easier because you're acting from yourself, right?
Yeah.
And also you're acting from yourself, and it's the best representation of yourself to help other people, whatever it is, right? So when I was in Coach and we were kind of going over this unique ability thing, talking to agents and talking to other investors was not my unique ability at all. My unique ability is recognizing a challenge that someone has, and then really cheerleading them along the way and help guiding them along that way. And when I look back at the clients that I had the most success with, meaning that we had a relationship over a period of time where I helped them achieve their goals. So, when I say I had the most success with them, I'm not talking about like a financial gain out of it. I'm talking about like where I felt that I was providing them with the most value, and I felt authentic and good, if you will, in what I was helping them do. Those were always relationships, and those were always things that I did where the relationship felt effortless. We worked together well, and it was true collaboration and teamwork, and it wasn't me working on them or giving them orders or whatever it was. So I didn't feel like I was getting that in real estate investing. I just didn't feel like that was there. I couldn't really. I could see I could see parts of my unique ability, but I never thought it was 100%. And I really truly think that what I'm doing now is my unique ability, because and another couple other things that coach will talk about is when you're truly in a unique ability, like work becomes effortless because it's energizing, because you're working from, I don't know, your highest form or your purest self or whatever hippy dippy mumbo jumbo we want to say about that.
What's the, when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
Yeah. And
oh, go ahead. Yeah.
And so I tried on the real estate investing hat for just about 3 years and felt like I just felt a lot of friction in front of me. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that in business, and when you start a business or when you're in business, that it's always going to be puppy dogs and ice cream and fairy tales. Right. That's not the truth, and that's not reality. And we can go back to, from 2003 to 2007 when I was freaking broke and poor beyond belief, eviction notices on my door. I mean, like really, really tough times. But even in all of that, like there was this kind of higher sense of purpose that I was working towards.
Right.
And so,
that's how I feel right now.
Yeah.
Man, it's really tough right now. I can see an element, right? It's not that it's going to be easy for you,
right?
But you're coming from a place of like, hey, I've done this before in a sentence, right? Like I'm starting pretty from scratch as far as that goes, and like having to build up that. But it is man, I've gotten people results.
Yeah.
And the impact that it's made. And I think like, I want to impact the dad or, whoever it is, but it's also, this is trickling down to their kids and their kids' kids, because the habits and changes that the dad is making now, the kids are noticing. The wife is noticing. And these are impactful things that are happening. And I just feel like you got to keep going, dude.
Yeah.
Like you can't. Yeah, it's tough. That's what it's supposed to be tough. If it wasn't tough, everybody would be, everybody would have six-pack and have millions of dollars, and we'd like, it's supposed to be tough.
Yeah.
I wanted to so it sounds like you're going back in a sense, but you mentioned the personality types. You mentioned the relationships that you've had the most success with, and not monetarily, but getting them from point A to point Z, rather than from point A to point D.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like these are people that are not necessarily tell me what to do kind of, but a little bit more like, I don't have to sugarcoat what we're doing here. Is that a little more?
Yeah, 100%. Yes. Yeah. I mean, again, you know me pretty well, as we've had we've had our friendship for over 3 years. I'm a really no bullshit guy. Like, I will just call it as it is. As I've gotten older, I've gotten better at like not just stabbing you in the heart, but still, I mean, it's people who are. I just want to work collectively and collaboratively. Like that's the best way I work. Like I tell people all the time, I have lots of ideas. Whether they're good or ideas are up to you and your brain and your body and the body's response. Yeah. So, I think one of the things that makes a good practitioner, facilitator, clinician, whatever you want to call it, is the ability to problem solve and have a mind map almost that you can kind of pick from. Like, hey, look, you have this going on. Historically, here's the lowest hanging fruit that we can knock out. Yeah. So historically, let's talk about losing weight. You want to lose 30 pounds. Well, here's what we do know. Yeah. We do know that sugar salt scrubs that come from, the 50th ring of Mars are probably not the highest thing that you should look at. Let's get really serious and let's just have a real honest conversation about, bro, there's two things that we got to look at: input and output. let's start there, because historically we know that we can really tackle a lot of the lowest hanging fruit from there. And then when we get into a place where we hit a plateau, and if that plateau goes on for a long period of time, maybe you need fairy dust from the fifth ring of Mars, but probably not right now. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I want to be able to do with people, is I want to be able to go like, we need to try this on for a period of time. And I have a really good idea of how long it's going to, from experience, I know how long this trial period is going to be, but you have to be willing to suspend disbelief for a moment that this is going to work. We have to try it. And then also, if it doesn't work, then it's on me to help us figure out what our pivot is and what the next direction is.
Yeah. I want to put a pin in the kind of logistics for a second of how you're getting people to where they're going. Starting and go back and dig even more to the personality type for you. What is your tip? Like, what does your ideal client look like for you wanting to work with them, but from their perspective of you being the right coach for them?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'll be 50 in February, and about over the last, I don't know, like 6 months to a year, I don't know how long it's been, but not a super long period of time. 50 has hit me interesting. Not that I feel old, because I don't feel old. Not that I feel like my body's broken down, because I don't feel like my body's broken down. However, it's gotten me think a lot about like longevity. And, I mean, if everything goes well, hopefully I have 30 left, I mean, 50. Maybe 40, hopefully,
Yeah.
I mean, like statistically speaking, let's just, like statistically speaking, let's hope I've got 30 or 40 left. Let's say 35. We'll just say split the middle. And let's hope that in that 35, I've got 25 to 30 really good ones left. And so when I used to I worked with a ton of youth athletes before, and not that I couldn't do that again. I just don't have the same calling for that anymore. I don't have the same, because I've done that. I've helped people get to college and pros and all the rest of that stuff. And now it's really like, I see a community of typically, I want high achieving professionals. Oftentimes they're engineers of some level. Oftentimes either former athletes or former military. They or like CPAs, like people that are very data driven work really well with me, because I can just go, this is what we're doing. Let's go. Yeah. Right. And they're typically analytical. But really that typical, and this isn't always the case, by the way, but typically that athlete or former military, because you have to know your body so well in both of those processes, and you have to be a little bit more like in tune to your body. We can, that allows us to have a communication level that really works well for me, and then that also works well for them. And also in those, the other struggle is that in those two avatars or archetypes, personality types, they're very misunderstood people. So high achieving professional, entrepreneur, former athlete, current athlete, former military, current athlete, or want to get back to being athletic again. Those are people who are oftentimes misunderstood because of the directness of their personality and the way that their brain works. And I have a really direct personality. I get asked all the time if I was in the military. I just had it happen this weekend. No, I was never in the military. However, I have a very similar type A, direct to the point. And then also, like, they're also very outcome driven. They're also outcomes based. I want to do X, Y, and Z. Well, I want to help you do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I know a lot of your, I mean, at least an aspect of your expertise is in recovery. So are these people, is your ideal client coming to you with an issue?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because so I built my practice in my original practice from 2003 to 2012 in Michigan, which is one of the worst economies possible. When before the housing crisis was being felt, we were already starting to see it. And then what we had in Michigan is we had a housing crisis plus two of the big three filed for bankruptcy, and Ford almost did.
Yeah.
And so people lost. Not only did they lose jobs, they lost houses. So people were moving out of the state at that time like rats on coming off a burning ship. I mean, they were just like in droves. And so, and it's a very blue collar community. So I had to be able to provide outcomes, because you're not going to pay me if I can't provide outcomes for you. And then also, like, that's a problem solving part of my brain that I love to, like, it just seemed like a natural fit to me. So in order for me to provide value and kind of be one of my separators in the industry is that I have a vast experience of helping people recover from injuries. I've done it for 25 years. I've worked with some really crazy, gnarly cases and helped get them back to square one again. So I feel like that initially up front, when you come to work with me, if you're going to drink the Shawn Kool-Aid, it's one of the ways that you could do that is, hey, look, I've been everywhere else, and I've heard people say that. I've had people come to me and say, look, I'm a triathlete, but if I can't figure this out, I got to stop. Oh man, let's go. That's a challenge. I'm in for that. If you want to, I don't know, sit at your desk better, I could give two shits about that. But if you want to go, like, you have an outcome that you want to go after, you have a place that you want to get to, I'm in and I'm on board, and I love that challenge. So, so that's initially and that doesn't have to be for everybody. Everybody doesn't have to come to the Rebuild Project with an injury. It's just it's that first taste of what I can provide for you. Because also, if you're active and you're pushing your body, you're going to get injured again at some point in time. There's no way around it. If you're pushing your body to a capacity, where it's, up against that 80 to 100% of your potential, it's going to happen. And that has nothing to do with the athlete. That has nothing to do with the coach. That's just how it works. It's like any other machine. When you push any other machine to 80 to 100% of its friction point, you're going to have a breakdown in there somewhere. And so that's really where, my experience has been that as people recover from injuries, they naturally want to become more active. And so along with that, when you deal with the crazy people that I've dealt with for the last 25 years, they're really good at being active. So they get even better at being more active, and I can't tell you how many times where I've had people like, hey, you're just my get out of jail free card. I know that if I do something dumb to myself, I can just come to you and say, hey, Shawn, I did X, Y, and Z,
Yeah, I just got you on retainer.
Yeah. And then I help them, I help them, get back to square one. And instead of it taking like 3 months or 90 days, we're back to square one again in, 3-4 weeks.
Yeah. Well, this is something that we were talking about a little bit before we started recording here, before we went live, is your speed of recovery. And are you using, I know you're taking them through exercises. Are you taking them through nutrition? Are you taking them through supplements? Are you taking them through any other supplements?
Yeah, no, at the moment, currently, no. And I probably wouldn't do that. I would refer out to certain people. So here's the way I look at it. Most of the problems that you have, unless you were hit by a meteor when you were 5 and it blew up your leg, so there's two types of injuries. There's repetitive use injury, and then there's impact injury. And repetitive use injury meaning you're running, you're weightlifting, you're doing the thing over and over, you're putting stress on the tissue, and also you're not strategically balancing out the other things.
Right.
So repetitive use injury.
This is so common though now.
Yep.
I don't know if you can see me.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So you have repetitive use injury. Yeah, and then you have impact injury. So impact injury is what you see on the football field on Sunday when you watch. And a lineman has their ACL torn. Oh, by the way, that non-contact injury, that non-contact ACL tear is really a repetitive use injury, most likely. And that ACL tear doesn't happen because they planted their foot in the ground. A healthy ACL doesn't. That is something that's lying dormant, and they're just on their last leg, right?
Yeah.
Figuratively and literally. So, so asking about the injuries and things like that. I really truly believe that a lot of the things that people have going on is a lack of symmetrical balance. And and then also properly loading the tissues so they can withstand the demand that you're putting on them. So ability versus demand. And so what happens with a lot of us is that we have these programs that we follow, whatever it is. And so for most of the time, if we're doing a pushing movement, meaning like a bench press, a push-up or whatever, for every one push, I'm probably programming at least 2 to 3 motions that reverse that push.
Right.
Because what you were just talking about, as a species, we internally rotate as a species. How do I know? Because the shoulder blade prevents you from externally rotating like this all the time. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Like there's hardware
in the evolution, the picture, I'm talking, like they're just hunched over.
Yep. Yeah. So
maybe,
as
maybe in 1,000 years it changes, but right now we're not.
Correct. Yeah. Maybe we become gray men in 1,000 years, and that's a different conversation. That's a different Rogan conversation for us to have. But currently, as we currently are, as a bipedal upright species that has a lot of skeleton on the back of our body that prevents us from externally rotating too much, it's natural for us to be an internally rotating species. And then also you put desk, you put phone, you put all of the things, and then also all of the muscles that we can see are on the front of our body. We're going to naturally overdevelop the front of our body. So for every push, I'm programming probably at least 2 to 3 things that combat that internal rotation, which is a lot of where you see the repetitive use injuries come in on both the front and the back of the shoulder. So I believe that you can get through a lot of that stuff with just good, solid, progressively planned exercise/movement programming. Now, all of the rest of the stuff, the supplements, I believe that 80% of the things that you have going on can get taken care of with good programming. Then there's another 20% in there that we need to talk about. So I think supplements, like basic supplements, your mag, like basic supplements for that are based on recovery protocols. Because the next thing that you need to tackle in there is your recovery. You can work out like a mad person, but if you don't recover, your gains are going to be shit and your body's going to fall apart. We know that now, right? We don't live in 1980, right? We live in 2025, but a lot of people act like they're in 1980 still. They act like they're still, Wolf of Wall Street in the way that they work out. Yeah. So then, like with all of the other things, like the peptides, the TRT, all of those things, I think at a certain point in time, especially with TRT, and I haven't done it to myself yet, but eventually it will happen because I fully recognize the fact that I notice a difference probably in the last 5 years of how I feel and how my body responds. Now, could I go on for the next 30 years or 40 years and go like this? Yeah, quite possibly. But again, we live in 2025. Right. I'm not calling from a landline phone any longer. Right? So some of those things are quality of life things that also help you to recover, and also can potentially, and we have enough data on it now. This isn't I'm not talking about steroids like 80s bodybuilders or the 80s Raiders, right? I'm talking about like strategically planned with a provider who knows what the hell they're talking about. So yeah, I don't think those things should be willy-nilly either, by the way. There's people that do it willy-nilly, and I'm glad that they do it, but I don't think everybody should do that.
Yeah, let them test them yet.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we need those people. Right? Because we need people in the field that are doing that type of R&D, right?
Right. Yeah, so we could go, no, that wasn't the way to do it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we probably shouldn't do it that way.
To do it. Like, hey, he got it right.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I have landed for a very long time, like we can do it naturally. We've gotten to this point in evolution, doing it naturally. We can do it naturally. But like you're saying, is if there are things out there that have been tested and we know what the long-term effects are, and it's going to shorten that recovery time. Now we're talking a different ball game. It's like, it'll take you 6 months to recover if we just do, the slow and steady, and that's where I'm going to default to.
Right.
Or, we could get a couple peptides in you, and we can shorten that recovery time to 5 weeks, and now you're back at that triathlon again.
Yep.
Right. And the peptide isn't necessarily solving some of those imbalance issues. The peptide is going in and helping with the recovery and things like that. But there's still work to do, and you can't necessarily shorten 6 months to 5 weeks, right? Otherwise, whoever picked some athlete that tears his ACL, he'd be back in a couple weeks, right? That's how it works. But, you and I are similar in a certain sense, and we were talking about this again before, is that we're both trying to build communities around this because both of us are in multiple communities that have impacted our business, our personal lives, our relationships. You're in, both of us are in sub 2. You're in strategic coach. I'm in ECA. We're also both in Fit Fatherhood, right? You've been a part of that, and that's been an amazing reconnection for us. Point is that
100%.
A lot of what we talked about, we started role playing, right? For people out there that don't, Shawn and I were both talking to sellers and agents, and we were trying to get better at having those conversations. And so we would role play with each other. Yep. And a lot of the times we role play for a little bit, and then we talk just dad stuff, man stuff, whatever. And that's what Fit Fatherhood, maybe that's kind of a seed that got planted in there and why Fit Fatherhood got born. But what is the rebuild community? Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to pin this. What is the rebuild community going to be about? Does RBLD is it an acronym, or is it just shortened rebuild?
I've played around with the acronym. I haven't found one yet that I like. Okay. I had one for a second. I don't know where it went. It's floating in some chat bot somewhere out in the ethosphere, right? No, it's really just a shortened. When I was playing around with names, I was trying to find something that was brandable, but also like fit like a brand, like what I believe, right? Yeah. And kind of what I'm providing and the value I provide. And so my previous business was called Synergy Movement Therapy, because the longest community that I've been in is in the martial arts community. So I've trained martial arts for 33 years now. And particularly I've done jiu-jitsu for the last 14 years. And I don't need to jiu-jitsu more, to be completely honest with you. Like I'm decent enough at jiu-jitsu. So I don't need to jiu-jitsu more. I don't need another arm lock or strangle or anything like that, because on the average person, I could do it pretty good, right? Yeah. However, what I do find the value for it is that it provides me with a social outlet and a group of people that are, jiu-jitsu is such a weird community because if you suck, I pretty much suck too, right? But as you get better, I naturally have to get better because the environment is demanding that I get better.
Yeah.
And so, I didn't realize for a while, I've said it, I've talked around it a million times. The real value to me now in jiu-jitsu is that I get an active hobby that I enjoy. And then also I get around a group of people who are either directly or indirectly interested in my improvement. And we also problem solve in real time together. Dude, how did you get me in that?
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming, right?
Yeah.
Or like, bro, you were so far ahead of me, so fast, I couldn't stop you. And so there's that problem solving that happens that's very organic as a community. And that's a really beneficial thing, particularly if you're in a good environment as well. So let's take that. I don't think that every jiu-jitsu club's perfect, because they're not. But if you're in the right environment, in the right community, then it can be incredibly transformational. I've seen it a million times. So then this last, about 6 months ago, I was at a coach workshop, strategic coach workshop. And it hit me afterwards. After we get done with the workshop, we all go out to dinner, or a lot of us go out to dinner. And I looked around the room and I was like, all of the things and the ideas that I've learned from Coach are great, but I'm paying for the community. I'm paying for a group of people who I can unabashedly show up and be Shawn with, and none of them care. And they also all understand, it's a rare thing. They all understand that I'm there to help my business grow, and I don't have any other choice but to have a business because I'm not employable. I haven't had a job since 1998, I think.
Yeah.
There's no one on the face of the planet that would hire me. Well, lots of people would hire me. I'm just not going to work at McDonald's, right? I could go get a job. There's just nobody that I'm just unemployable. And also, like, I just know that having a business is really the thing that I want to do. It provides me with the ability to become the best version of myself I possibly can. Yeah. So the community aspect of it is, when I was working one-to-one with people, I didn't have the time or opportunity to create a community. And it never occurred to me, by the way. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. But also I just didn't have the opportunity to do it, because when you're seeing people one-to-one in person, it's another appointment for them. Right. And so, I've been part of continuing education communities that have been fantastic and transformational for me as well. And so the goal, part of the Rebuild project in the community that I'm building, is there's a big community aspect in it, because if you and I are in a community together, then we feel more sense of belonging. We feel, because we're going after the same, we're going in the same direction. We might be going in a little bit of a different direction, but there's this cohesiveness to us. And then again, going back to, when you're a high achieving professional or a high achieving person, there's less of you at the top than there is at the bottom. And then as you age, and if you stay active, especially here in the States, we know it because statistics, there's less active people as you age than there is sedentary people. Yeah. So like going along again with, self, not 100% altruistic. Like, I just want to create a group of people that's a really fun group of people, and we're all going in the same direction. And right now, the direction that I'm going in is based off the skill that I have. But, eventually I want people that have different skills to come into the community and contribute to the community, because it shouldn't be like the Shawn show. The minute I tell anybody, hey, look, I've got it all figured out, you need to run as quick as you possibly can. Because now I've drank enough of my own Kool-Aid, and that's dangerous.
Yeah. I like there's an element of, we do a lot of social media, and this being a part of that. There's an element where people see you on social media and like, oh, he's got the physique, or he's talking about this. He knows what he's talking about. They've got it all figured out. I'm like, no. I'm just talking to myself a lot of the times 3 months ago, 6 months ago,
Right, right,
in the past, and like there's things that I'm working on now. I'm far from perfect, very, very
right,
far from
right,
perfect. And like I said, if I ever feel like that, oh man, I got to make a change. If I ever feel
right,
like I've got it all figured out, then I'm not in the right spot anymore. You know,
right.
I just talked about that. Like our enemy is comfort.
Yep,
We're as a society, we're too comfortable.
yep,
That means you're stagnant and you're not growing. And if I feel like, man, I've learned everything, I know everything there is to know about thyroid and cortisol and cholesterol and our adrenal glands and peptides, like, okay, shoot, that means I'm not pushing myself anymore, or I'm not passionate about it anymore. Like, it's time to get up and get out of here.
right.
And you know, you said something about the strategic coach community, which is interesting, that Brett Stewart last week and Greg Burney, I don't know how, it was 5 weeks ago maybe, are both Joe Homebuyer franchisees. And they said almost the same exact thing, as like the stuff that the franchise pushes down to us is great, but it's being in this community of people who are all, we're all working towards, we're not doing it to, you know, we're doing it together in a sense, but like we all have our own franchises that we're trying to push,
Yep,
but we're all trying to push our businesses together. And
yep,
you know, for the rebuild project, it's all these people that are trying to push their physical, they're active. Like for Fit Fatherhood, it is fitness, it is, you know, fitting fitness into fatherhood in your life. And so
hmm,
we all have that shared vision, and it's that accountability, the support, the idea sharing. Like you missed last week's, but it was the coffee hour. We don't have those very often. Most of the time it's just us being guys kind of, and whatever
shoot the
topic
shit.
just yeah, it is, yeah, sense. Like we literally have talked, and I don't mean like, you know, like locker room talk, potty talk. Like we talked
Right,
about potty talk for like 30 minutes one time because
sure,
Huxley was going through it, you know. But this past week it was, man, this one of the dads just, this is, I'm going through something right now.
yeah,
And it was just like, okay, hey, support time, you know.
yeah,
Man, I get a little like teary. I talk about, because like that's, I want all the
yeah,
fun, but
yeah.
those moments where somebody was comfortable enough in the group, in the community,
Vulnerable.
to go, hey guys, I'm going through something right now. And
Yeah,
yeah, it was a cool thing. And that's I love that you're building the community, because it is so important to us being able to grow and be able to hit those goals and accomplish the things that we want to accomplish. And you're doing yours
yeah,
on school.
yeah, yeah, and also like having that trusted group of people. Like, dude, we've never met. You and I have never met, like face to
Not in
face,
person,
in
yeah.
person, not
Yeah.
in person, but we spent a lot of time together. And I
Yeah.
know that if something fell apart for me and I needed someone to reach out to, I know that you're one of the people that I could call, and it would be there. We would be there for each other. And
Yeah.
so I think that we can have, especially in this day of technology, and it doesn't replace in person. I'm not saying that, but I think that we can build relationships and trust and authenticity in these mediums now that didn't exist before.
Yeah, there is an element, like, and this is where I'm going with you're building your community, is we talked about there's a limit that you're going to cap yours at, or it sounded
Yeah,
like, at least. And you're right that there we can only get so far digitally. There is an element of being there and being in the physical space with those other people that just evolutionarily, like, we kind of need that. And so you can't
100%.
replace that in-person contact, but having those people from all over the country, all over the world, that you can go, hey man, I'm going through something, or I've called you, this is going back a while, like, man, I got this thing going on.
Right, right, right.
What's going on? Yeah. And then you're like, well, how many push-ups are you doing? How many pull-ups are you doing? Oh, I didn't even think about that. I'm doing like
Yeah,
one pull to every 4 push-ups. Whoops.
yeah, yeah.
You decided to do yours on the platform school, SKOOL, for anybody who's living under a rock and
Right.
doesn't know who Alex Hormozi is. No, I shouldn't say that because there's a lot of people out there that probably haven't heard of school, but we were talking prior, and my goal with Fit Fatherhood is huge. Like, 10, 20,000 people, where it's not, Fit Fatherhood is an umbrella for regional groups, that are meeting and doing, 5Ks or Tough Mudder or whatever those things are in person, where there is that local kind of in-person community too. Yours sounded like you were thinking a little bit more, I don't want it to grow more than, and I'm just going to put a number on it, 50 people. What's that number?
Oh, sure,
what's that number for you and why? Yeah.
You know what? So as extroverted as I am, I also have a cap of, like, I'm an introverted extrovert, or I'm an extroverted introvert, however you want to say it. Like, I don't really like big things. I don't like about 40 people is about the max capacity for me before I start to go, yeah, I'm just not interested in doing this, right? And so now that's not to say that the Rebuild Project community will cap at 50 or 40, but I truly believe that, and I don't know, I think it's also up to the individual, but in most groups that I've been in, and I've been in 4 that have gotten past 5,000. When you get past 5,000 in an online community, and I think you could probably even argue past 2,000 or 3,000. Yeah. I feel like it starts to lose the intimacy and the ability to know, oh yeah, I know this person, at least not directly, but I've seen their interaction, or we've had the chance to interact a couple times. Yeah. And once you get, I don't know, we'll say 2,000 to 5,000, somewhere in there, right? Once you get that big, I feel like you lose the intimacy. Now, I could be completely wrong, and it could be bigger for some people, but my observation is that. So, I don't know that I also don't know that I want to create a system that manages 10 to 15 to 20,000 people personally. And so, so that's, I don't know, somewhere between the 8 people that I currently have in my community to maybe 5,000, somewhere in there will reach a cap, I'm sure, where I go, I have enough personally, so I don't need to get this any bigger, right? I'm comfortable here. I think there's a conversation that needs to happen of what's actually enough for you. Right. So for some people, it's 100,000 people. That's for some people. That's enough for them. And for some people, it's 3. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, know, but what's enough for you? And I have a feeling that somewhere between now and 2,500 to 5,000, I'll reach my cap where I go, I feel like this is the best value that we can provide for a community. I don't feel like it's getting off the rails. I see the interaction is good for the community, and I have enough I'm making enough money from this to support the lifestyle that I want to support. So.
Yeah, I love it. Is there anything about the Rebuild Project that we haven't discussed before I move to our
close?
Yeah, well, and I don't want to call them generic, but
yeah. Your closing questions. They're really your closing questions. Yeah. So, couple things. I truly believe that wherever you're at in your life, and if it doesn't have to be with me, it can be with Nathaniel or someone else, it's not too late to get started first. Yeah. It's not too late. I don't care what anybody tells you. I don't care what about the voice in the back of your head tells you. I don't care any of that stuff. It's not too late to get started. If you're willing to take a risk and you're willing to get out of your comfort zone a little bit, you have the potential to become a better version of you. It's there. That's a little bit of what the Rebuild Project hopefully is for people. I'm looking at building a community of people. My lifetime value, or LTV, if we were talking about it in a marketing thing, is, I want someone that wants to look at doing this as a project over the next 3 to 5 years, where we help you become a mutant to your current self. If you can give me 3 to 5 years, I can make you in 3 to 5 years will murder you currently, right? You will far outperform whatever you're currently capable of. And so that's really what and also the injury that you currently have, if you have one, it isn't better when you feel better. That recovery protocol needs to go far past that, so that you can build the resiliency and have that injury be less of a chance. And that's really what we do in Rebuild.
I don't know if she's actively listening right now, but Brittany has had a little lower back thing, and I was like, "It's better. That doesn't mean stop." Thank you.
Yeah,
Sean says.
Right. Yeah, and also let's really quickly talk about that. That's ability versus demand. And so I'll tell you really quick about my own personal one of my many injuries, but I had a meniscus tear in 19. And it was a grade 2 moderate bucket handle tear. By 2021, it was so bad that when I would do jiu-jitsu, my shin would float.
Yeah.
Right. And so over the last 4 years, going on 5 years now, over the last 4 years, I've non-surgically repaired the joint instability, because your meniscus will scar over. So I've non-surgically repaired the joint so that the joint has stability again. And I actually did something yesterday that you'll see on an Instagram post sometime this week, or Monday. I'm sorry, it was because I just batched them and scheduled them. I did multiple slant board pistols or single leg squats at 49 years old with a pretty severe meniscus tear. So, but 2 years ago, I probably wouldn't have tried that because the joint maybe it would have been ready to handle it. But I know 9 months after it, I still wouldn't have tried it. So your recovery takes a lot longer because you're trying to recover from the pain, but then you're also trying to regain and rebuild the strength and stability of the area that's injured.
Yeah. I mean, I could talk from my personal every time you're like, oh man, I got the shoulder pain. Okay, let me do the exercises. Okay, shoulder pain's gone. I'm good.
Yep.
And then you sleep on it funny, and crap, shoulder pain's back. Well, let me get back to my exercises for a little bit here.
Yep.
I love the you're never too late to get started. We think that just because I'm 40, I'm 41, my time has passed. Like, no, you're not 20 anymore. You're not 30 anymore. Right. It would have been better to get started then. But is it better to get started today or 3 years from now, right?
Yeah.
No, get started.
Well, and the other thing too, for those people who are, let's say, 40 plus, you can't, we're early on, we talked about, the idea of living and having a good 20 to 25 years left, right? Yeah. Well, here's what I can tell you. We need to make you a badass 40-year-old, so you're a badass 50-year-old, and you're a badass 80-year-old.
Yeah.
But if you have the chance to do it in your 40s or your 50s, it's going to make it easier for you to be a badass 80-year-old. Yeah. If you try at 79, it's going to be pretty damn tough for you to be a badass 80-year-old. Yeah. So in what we do, though, is we go back to the past and who we used to be. Well, I can't leverage my 20s any longer because they're gone. So the only thing I can leverage is 49 and then in my 50s.
It's interesting, and I'm writing a little note here because I'm going to make a topic about this. Compound, it's kind of like you're investing in your health retirement.
Agreed. Yeah.
Like they say, start putting money in your 401k or whatever your retirement account is when you're 20, because then you give yourself more time to compound. Now we can't go backwards and starting from 20 years ago, but we can start now, because if we allow 25 years of compound interest to start from when we're 40 to 65 rather than waiting till we're 45. Well, now we've only got 20 years. So
Right.
allow that compounding effect to take place. I love that you said that. Like, I want to be a badass 40-year-old so I can be a badass 45-year-old, 50-year-old, 60, 70, 80. I want to be I do kind of want to live in a nursing home when I'm old, because like good nursing homes are amazing.
Right.
I want to be the badass in the nursing home. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Hopefully that'll be Brittany in the nursing home, not me, because I will have been gone. Yeah, but no. I love you. Okay. What is we've kind of answered this, and I don't know if you've answered this on previous episodes, so you could go back and see what the answers, if you answered them, were. What's the biggest life lesson you've learned, Shawn, over your multitude of careers here, and how did you learn it? Oh boy. Should I do the Jeopardy music?
This is a great question. I want to. Nathaniel's known me for 3 years. This is probably the first time he's ever heard me quiet.
Yeah.
So this is a great question. I want to give it just a little bit of thought before I answer.
I'm going to pull up the Jeopardy music.
Yeah. Here's the biggest lesson. Don't give up on yourself. And find people that are willing to that you're willing to invest in, and that are willing to invest in you.
Have you ever given up on yourself? Is that why this is coming up?
Oh yeah, dude. I tried to I went through a divorce that was pretty gnarly in 2007. Like, I pretty much punted everything I was doing at the time. And the only thing I did do is I kept training and teaching martial arts. And that was a large thing that got me through, because I had that community. But yeah, dude, and if you would have talked to me in June of 2007, my life was falling apart at the seams from a variety of different angles. And if it wasn't for some counseling and some really, really good friends and really good members of my family, I mean, like, I don't know that I would be in the same mental and physical capacity that I'm in currently.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And so does Gabe. And oh no, I forgot your wife's name.
Melissa. Yeah.
I knew it was the easy one. If you could have dinner with anybody throughout history, dead or alive, who would it be, and what would you want to talk about?
It would be the same answer that I had last time, because you asked me this question before, and I've thought a lot on it since then. Actually, it would be my grandfather.
Okay.
My mom's dad died when I was 9, and it was a pretty tough experience for me, because he was one of the people that I felt really supported by when I was young. And I would love to sit down with him as an adult and say, Grandpa, here's who I am. And I would like to know him as an adult now, you know? Yeah. So, yeah.
I do. My grandfathers are ones that I think about a lot. Just how, picking their brain and understanding where their head was at.
Yeah.
Coming from a completely different generation and doing a lot of different things than I couldn't even imagine, kind of.
Right.
You're a handful of people that have said family members. And when I asked the very first person on episode 1 and he said a family member, I was like, I would have never even I didn't even think of that. It was always like, oh, Gandhi, or Jesus,
whoever. Yeah.
But that's interesting. Before I ask the last question, what's the best way for people to reach out to you, learn more about what you've got going on, kind of learn from you? I know you talk a lot on social media, and you're kind of same as me. It's like, I want to give as much value as I can to people and work with the ones that really want to go crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. You can find me, Shawn Kitzman, Shawn Kitz on Instagram. The Rebuild Project is on Instagram and Facebook as well. You can come and join the free school community, the Rebuild Project, the Forge. I mean, and you can find me there, interacting there. So those are all good ways to get to, for people to to interact with me, and don't feel shy about sending a message or, a DM or whatever. I'm always more than happy to chat with people, and yeah.
Yeah, I love that. It's like that's what I do. What I do. I want to help people.
Yeah.
So when your time on this earth is done, Shawn, and if I've asked that other question, I probably asked this one. What do you want to be remembered for by the people you left behind?
I want to be remembered that I tried the hardest I possibly could be to be the best version of myself, and that I gave the most to people and supported them and tried to help them accomplish the things that they want to accomplish. And if I can have a little bit of part in that thing, whatever it is, that's been the most rewarding thing that I've done in my life is to help people accomplish their goals. And then those would be the two things really.
Yeah, I love that. Help people. I just want everybody I know to win that wants to win.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, man.
Again, it's always great chatting with you. If you would hang out for a minute so we can make sure the recording gets all finished up. I'll see you in a second. Oh, I cut him off. Thanks for being here, man. Shawn Kitzman, if you are one of those people that he talked about, he is a very specific personality and a specific type of person to work with. Those people that have a goal that they have in mind, maybe you are coming with an injury, or you're just seeing like, hey, I want to make sure that I am building a foundation that can prevent or, give me the ability to recover from injuries quickly. Go check out the Rebuild Project. It's on School, SKOOL, if you're unfamiliar with School, and he is on Instagram and Facebook as well. Those communities it's everything. It's everything, right? We from thousands of years ago, we had little, small, tight-knit communities where we pulled each other for resources, for knowledge, for passing down just everything that we've learned. And now we've got the ability to have communities all over the world. And while it doesn't replace that in-person, like we talked about, it doesn't replace that in-person interaction. It gets us 95% of the way there. And having those people that we can rely on to just call up and say, hey, I'm going through something, or hey, my shoulder's messed up. What do you got for me? That's what the community is about, to uplift, to support, to hold you accountable, to just grow together. So if you're not part of a community, get part of one. I know Shawn's building something great. If you're a dad out there, Fit Fatherhood is the community for you. If you made it this far and you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. If you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button. Until next week, noon Eastern time, every Wednesday. Later, y'all.